Hello, 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 everyone. Big news, big news. Wolfie was on my desk and sneezed, and now I have a big snot streak on my left monitor. And I wiped most of it off. But I'm gonna have to go in there with some Windex later. I'm gonna have to Windex it up, because it is, I'm trying to get more of it now. He's got a little, as mentioned before, he's got a little respiratory issue. He frequently, gets sneezy and stuff. That's normal for him. And as a result, he'll be sitting around, he'll be hanging out, and then he'll just start going, achoo, 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 like little cat sneezes. Except you can hear it, like you can hear the snot, So those little cat, like really quick sneezes. He does like 4 of those in a row, and then like a giant chunk comes out. He loves to do that right in my face in the morning sometimes. He doesn't do it every day, but it's, like when it's flaring up, so. Anyway, so my left monitor has been baptized. It has been baptized. It's looking great. Thankfully, it's on the bottom part of the screen, so I can read important stuff above it, I guess. I don't know. The screen's usable. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. What else? I feel like there's something else. Oh, yeah, I still have so many DMs to go through. I have spent the entire weekend since announcement until now non-stop just doing fucking, I don't know, a million meetings, all these comms, onboarding people. It's holy fuck. Can I get this as a poster? I don't own the commercial rights, therefore I cannot sell it. But yeah, I'm glad there's a good response. I don't know what I expected. I was gonna say it's more than I expected, but at the same time, like when you talk about a thing that should feasibly at least a little bit be able to kind of help everybody, like it is a catch-all thing. It's, you know what I mean? And it's like a service that's like free for these people to use, no harm to sign up. I mean, I probably should have expected that it would be like a lot. So that's good. I'm glad people are showing interest. Glad it's been positive. People generally tend to be combative about anything these days. I think that's a testament to how much people want this sort of thing. It's like if these were YouTube comments, it would be like 99.7% positive comments would be the stat on the side, which is crazy because like you said, yeah, like everyone is combative about everything. No, every single bit of the reaction has been really good. And I think it's because people see I'm not trying to like come in and do like more of the same. The type of solutions people have been trying to offer, which aren't really solutions. I'm not doing more of the same. I'm doing something different. And I'm just making a platform. I want to state too, there are a couple of misunderstandings of things. Number one, actually, before I clarify anything, I want to say thank you for people who have been clarifying for me. There's no way I can go and reply to every reply. I cannot go scan every YouTube comment. I cannot go scan Reddit posts, whatever. Like, there is no time to be doing that. I am just working to get people onboarded in and working on deals as much as I can, right? So thank you to any of you who have been clarifying for stuff. If you see someone post something that you know is incorrect and you heard me say otherwise, thank you for that. I have seen a few people doing that. It's very, very, very helpful. Please only do that if you're sure of what you're saying. but seeing people clarify stuff is very helpful because I just cannot individually be replying to like everybody. So yeah, no, it's great. I appreciate that. Again, testament to this community and the way you guys are. It's good. People have needed this different angle. Yeah. I'm just really tired of, and you know what? A lot of people are doing it pretty well, but I'm tired of people just trying to do more of the same because when you make your own talent agency or management company, you make another one that is like well-intentioned this time or whatever. Um, that's great, but it's not scalable. I can't be out here making an agency. I can't be out here making a talent management company because number one, other people already can and they already do, and that's fine. I don't dislike them. I think they do fine. But the thing is they can't scale and they can't help small talents. They just can't because it's not financially feasible. So I'm trying to make something that's like not super high cost for me to build or anything like that. There is cost, but it's not like, this isn't the type of thing that's going to cost me $1 million to make, right? And I could make it, and then offering it to people and having them use it is also very low cost to me. So, or to the whole team really, right? So it's very, I think the problem is a lot of things people try to do to help are well-intentioned, but the business model doesn't work. It just doesn't work in reality, Yeah, it's not 5 million startup. No. It's really not expensive. And a lot of this I am doing myself. As mentioned, I'm working on this myself along with my team. I saw some people saying they're like, how'd she get the money to do this? People being like, must be VC funded. No, we have no investors. No investors. I am not taking any investments right now. I might if it's past the phase where I've already built things to a certain extent. That way no investor can sit there and change the early build. If it's later to help us add features, or it's to just allow me to hire more employees to do more of the same so I could build it quicker, I'm totally down for that. That's fine. But I wouldn't take any at that super early, like up until now phase. Like before this, I would not have taken any because then they would have been able to drive it into a totally different product, which is not at all what I wanted. So yeah, so I would consider it later. Like from now forward, I would talk to people about it because it's at the point where it's solidified. But I would never do it before that because it just has to be the vision of what I think it should be. I can't have it be someone else's vision. That's just stupid for what this is supposed to be. Me and my homies hate shareholders. I don't hate shareholders. I think the whole VC world is fine as long as you write up contracts properly. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, oh yeah, give me money and I'll just do whatever you want now. But I wanted to just state that because I saw some people being like, oh, it must be so expensive to build. It's not. It must be VC funded. It's not. This is just a personal thing that I'm making happen and have been working on making it happen for a while. So, yeah. Would you say, Detective? Speaking of one YouTube comment, saw one on the video you posted calling it an ad company? No. No. No, it's a platform for like anyone to use.
Can we add a battle pass, 5 monthly subscriptions and ID verification system?
We need it all. The investor said so. Yeah, that's the thing is like when you bring people in super early before you've like scoped it out and really started building, you end up with something that's not even what it's supposed to be, But yeah. So I wanted to just state that. That was something that I saw people saying. It's just not that. So if you see anyone saying it's funded by anything from the outside, right now it is not. Right now it is not. So you can correct people and confidently say, nope, she said it's not. Yeah, you said lots of folks are assuming talent agency, but thankfully that's easy to correct. Yeah, it's not a talent agency. It's not a talent management company. Because those models, those business models aren't sustainable, then they don't scale. And when you make something that doesn't scale, you can't help small creators. Like, a lot of the reaction that I saw, people, there were a lot of people that were larger and medium saying, thank you, thank God, because we all get picked up by management companies and that's cool, but we don't know what they're doing. We have to put so much trust into them. So I'm trying to make something that allows them to pair this with them having an agency or with them having a manager or whatever it is and still be able to have a little bit of agency over their own shit, right? You could still, like, they can keep their workflows exactly the same, keep their managers exactly the same, but this gives them like a little extra bit of knowledge, right? being able to tell when your manager got paid by that sponsor so you can check up on it, being able to see what that amount was that your talent agency was handed for you, so you can double check that they did the math right, so they aren't just giving you half and being like LOL haha and like not telling you, you know what I mean? There's literally no way to tell right now. So yeah, I'm having that kind of stuff be like what the tool is for, is like being able to check up on shit. And then you can be independent. I think one of the hard parts is like, so when I'll go here. Whoops, wrong one. This one. When I left V Shoujo, I was able to hit the ground running just fine because I already had like my existing stuff going, right? And when people were like, well, who do I reach out to now? What's the email now? Because whenever you join an agency or management company, you put forth an email that's like your name at theirurl.com, right? Like they set you up with a company email typically so that they can handle your deal flow and they're not like getting into your personal email, obviously, because that's not how it should be. So that stuff, that email will get forward to your personal one that you use for your career, for your streaming or whatever. But like that's the one that your managers get to use, is the outside one, the front facing one, right? So you post that on like your Twitter and whatever, and you're like, contact me here. And the problem is when people leave agencies and things or they swap around, now no one knows where to contact them. Or they're still using the old email that's defunct and no one's answering. And it can mess up relationships that they have with people sometimes, with like certain sponsors and publishers. And I don't want that to happen. So having this platform means that like if you switch up agencies, they can still get contacts to you directly. You can just press a button to be like, I'm not with this agency anymore, I'm with that one instead. And it just like swaps all of that stuff very quickly, right? Like the setup of that happens seamlessly instead of the publishers having to like hunt the creators down, which is usually what happens. And it gets really messy. And I had to sit there and DM people, you know, because like agencies were asking me for contacts because they were like, sometimes an agent gets a new rep too, and that rep doesn't know all the emails for all the different publishers. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you said Mouse lost tons of stuff because their old emails tied to the past org. Right. That's what I'm saying. And like, if they offboard you nicely, it can be okay. But a lot of companies just straight up drop your ass. They're just like, okay, well then we'll shut this down. Get anything you need. You have 24 hours. And then see ya. You know, some of them give you a week maybe, but now you have to like go through as a solo creator and scrape all of your emails. You don't even know what you're looking for. You know what I mean? So yeah, so this should hopefully like consolidate a lot of this stuff so people can just use it there, and then their agencies and their managers, whatever, can pick up wherever they leave off whenever they're swapping around. And then they can operate independently too. Because the problem is when you're indie, you have to like build relationships one by one with every studio, every publisher, every rep, whatever, if you're trying to get these deals. And it's just like really not feasible. But especially when you're a solo creator indie and you are not big enough to hire a manager or for an agency to want to pick you up, you have to do it yourself. There's no option. But then you don't have the time to. So it just becomes impossible. So that was kind of like the part I was trying to solve. It's like the smaller and medium creators or anyone who's larger but trying to be independent, especially being able to just like do that easily. And then it doesn't change up if you do have an agency or a manager. It doesn't change that. It just lets your stuff be tied to you instead of them a little bit. So if something does change, it's like not an issue, you know? It's simple, but yeah, it's just a platform that lets you do that kind of stuff. And then there's a lot of tools on like the publisher and sponsor side, but I haven't bored people with too much of that because that's the real value. That's the side that is like the most helped by this, which is crazy because I already feel like we're doing a lot on the creator side, but yeah, it makes their work a lot easier. So, yeah. I will say it's not just LinkedIn or Tinder for sponsors because that implies that there's no human element, right? Like LinkedIn and Tinder, you make a profile and then there's an algo that throws you at each other and that's it. But we still do a lot of communication and helping out the publishers and the companies get their stuff together. We still do a lot on that end to make sure that there's a very human component when like matching people as well. And then there will be like, you know, some stuff where yes, our system helps out, but I'm not looking to make it something that's entirely not touched by human hands and 100% automated only, because I feel like then you run into like a lot of issues. I don't even need to describe it, right? You run into a lot of issues there too when there's no oversight, you know? So I really want a mix. But the stuff that makes no sense for human hands to be doing, like sitting there and opening an email and going to find an email chain when instead it could just be like a platform tells you to do this kind of thing. That kind of stuff, yeah. There's no point. We'll just make that happen quick. Know what I'm saying? Can I implement the swipe left right functionality for creators to match sponsors? We're not doing it like that. We're not doing it like that. I mean, realistically, this is a platform. At the end of the day, a lot of the decision making is still going to be on the creators and the sponsors themselves, you know? Like, I'm not trying to build something where like I'm making decisions for people too much, or the company's making too many decisions for people. We're helping everyone, but they're still going to be the decision makers. So like if a creator sees a campaign that they are qualifying for and they want to try to like play that game, the sponsor's still going to choose if they want to accept them. You know, like it's not going to be us. Because I feel like, again, that's every company that people try to make to solve issues. They try to be the ones exactly solving the issue themselves with their hands and their like human man hours. You know what I mean? And it doesn't scale. It doesn't help people. You can only help like 10 people doing that, you know? So yeah, trying to make something where at least everyone can try, you know? And it's huge. It's just a facilitator. Mediator, facilitator. I say facilitator is a better word than mediator. Yeah. Facilitator. Because I mean, the other option is a lot of people just never get offered anything at all when they don't have something like this, unless they go check like the one or two other solutions that exist that pay you peanuts because they actually don't do shit. There's no human touch on it to make sure that like that stuff is balanced. You know what I mean? That's where the human touch comes in, is us making sure that there's some balance there. Because if I see, you know, a sponsor come in and be like, I'll offer you 1 cent to play my game, and they're just trying to blast this out to everybody, I'm going to be like, hey, you can't do that here. You know what I mean? Like, sponsors will have some agency on this and creators will have some agency on this, but we'll still be there to like make sure that people aren't doing crazy shit, you know? Whereas a lot of the other solutions don't have a human touch really moderating that, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to allow. If I can ask, how does the platform you're launching generate revenue or self-sustain? It's something we can keep doing with a really tiny team. So that was the most important thing to me, is I don't like company bloat. I do not like that every single company people make ends up being a company that has 10 talents and like 20 employees. And then like, it's so stupid. Like there is not enough money generated from this whole ecosystem for that to be happening and to be sustained. So this is something that can be run with a very small team, first of all. So the cost is going to be low. It's not going to be high cost. And then second of all, we're not taking a cut from the creators. I saw some people saying stuff like, oh, is this another middleman, or you take a cut from the creator? We don't. We charge the sponsors a baseline fee. There will be something for the service. It comes from them. It does not come from the creator. So whatever the creator pitches themselves at, if they're like, I will do this thing for $500, we will give them $500 if the sponsor says, yes, we'll sponsor them, right? So there's no like scaling percent with the creator of money that we take from the creator. There's nothing like that. The creators, whatever they pitch at, that's like not affected. Because that is currently how the industry works. When you have like agencies and things, they tend to have a contract with the creator where they take a percent of the creator's earnings. So if the creator says, I want $500, the agency comes in and is like, oh yeah, we'll take 10% or 15 or 20 or whatever their numbers are. So the creator knows that they always take that percent to give it away to their manager. So I didn't want to get in the middle of that and add another slice to the creator that we're taking out, you know? I didn't like that. So I know this is work in progress and not even beta yet, but will there be an option to apply for the beta for small sponsors like small solo and small team game makers or such? Oh yeah, absolutely. That's another problem, is like if you're a small company, it's really hard to find talent. So we're trying to serve that side very heavily too. Like make sure that the people looking to sponsor can actually do this stuff. Because normally you have to go through like really big publishers or marketing agencies who take a huge cut of your marketing budget, like insane cut. So yeah, you'll be able to do that if you're smaller. The only thing is if you are, there are big publishers who we know are good for the money. They have worked with us a bunch, whatever. That's great. They're also going to be, if we allow that, a lot of unknown entities just popping up. So we're going to have some stuff in place that is a little different for them if it's their first time doing a sponsorship, especially with us, to make sure that we can like verify that they're legit for the money and stuff like that. So there might just be a little more process to be like, you know, verifying that you are legit, right? But yeah, that's where, like I said, that's where the human touch still comes in. We're not going to just let anyone post anything on there. That is absolutely not how it's going to work. What if the talents happen to find a sponsorship by themselves? That's fine. That doesn't have anything to do with us. We're not an agency. We're not a talent management company. We do not exclusively own anything over any talent or anything like that. That was a big deal for me. I do not want there to be any sort of situation where like, because someone works with us, they can't work with someone else. So again, that's why we legally are not making an agency or talent management company. I don't want to be that sort of thing, you know? No thanks. Any potential for a conflict of interest with your current sponsors? No, this is literally all built on my back. Like, not to brag, it just literally is. This is all me making all of like this stuff happen with them and then telling them about this thing and having them use our current version of the system and them liking it and then trying to spread out the deal flow I already get to more people. I could have gate kept all of this, to be clear. I was building this for myself to just like make my workflow easy. And like a couple friends, right? Like I was working on this for a small thing. And then I said, oh, you know what? This is actually scalable. Let me do this. But yeah, I could have not shared. So I'm just deciding to share, right? That's really like, it's really it. And then if there's a sponsor that goes through it that is not, like maybe, let's say I'm with GamerSups and then there's like a different drink company trying to go through it. Well, I just won't take the sponsor from the competing company because that's how my contract is, right? But it doesn't matter if they go through my company to service other creators, that there's no conflict there. It's different if I'm like, yeah, I'll just take 5 drink sponsors. Like, yeah, I won't be doing that, you know? But yeah. Yeah. So I was going to post a sponsorship just to put my name in the corner of streams. Well, but you can still do that. It's just that you're going to have to talk to us. Like, you can't just be like, oh, puts $5 in the system as a promise. Yeah, put my name in your corner of your streams. Surely I'll pay you and then post. Like, it doesn't work like that. You'll have to talk to us. But if we go through we have various processes to verify, like if you're legit, if you have the money, you know, blah, 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 then yeah, we can do like stupid shit like that too. Well, will we just like make it the Wild West and just do that all the time? I don't know about that, but it's possible. It's possible. Is it like some system to use like escrow for untrusted sponsors? Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Because you have to, like, I don't want to let anyone just post on there, because the way sponsors work is they pay you after. So like they tell you tell them your rate and they say, okay, yes. And then you do the sponsorship. And then 30, 45, 60 days later, after you complete it, then you get paid. So if a sponsor came in and didn't actually have the money and we let them just post willy-nilly and not verify them, someone could wait like a month or two and then it turns out the sponsor doesn't actually have the money. They're not legit, right? Like that's a bad system. So we're going to have ways that we verify on the sponsor side to make sure that they're like real and that they will actually pay, etc. Because that's the current system, because of the time gap being like that and when you get paid, kind of makes it a little difficult to tell if they're legit or not, you know, because it's like, it's a whole thing. It's so complicated. There's so many small moving parts, which is why I was like, fuck, a system is just what's needed here. Like, we don't need more companies. We don't need more people. We just need like one system that does stuff. It kind of like aggregates info, because there's nothing that does that really. Streamer, you know, is constantly inundated with small devs asking his chat and emails. Oh yeah, about this kind of stuff? Yeah. We want to make it possible. I don't want to gatekeep smaller companies, but I just have to also verify them, if we're going to do right, like by both sides. So that's what we'll be doing. Yeah, I imagine the sponsors also have to verify that the creator met their end of the agreement, like highlighting certain features on stream. Yeah. So a really good example is like, this is why I wanted communications to be like visible. If you have a contract with a sponsor and it has deliverables, it'll be like one stream for 2 hours on Twitch and one social post that includes like hashtag ad and a tag of this account, like our account. And you have to put this image in your Twitch panels during the sponsored stream, during the segment, right? It'll have like three, four like deliverables listed out like that. And then you say, yeah, for that, I want to do this rate. And they go, okay. And you sign the contract and you're good, right? If the streamer then does the stream and they make the social post, but they don't put, let's say, like the panel in their about section, they didn't do that. The sponsor, now this depends on the way the contracts are. The sponsor gets to decide like what happens in the contract if they don't follow things. But the sponsor can be like, oh my God, the creator didn't do it. Maybe I don't want to pay them or I want to reduce their pay or something, right? The problem is, how do you verify where the problem happened? Because if that person has a manager, let's say the publisher never even gave the panel image to anybody. They put it in the deliverables, they listed in the contract, but they never actually sent the image. Their rep just got lazy and didn't do it or forgot. Well, that's not really the creator's fault then, right? But how do you prove that? Right now, because communications are spread out everywhere, it's kind of hard to prove that. What if they did give it to that person's manager, but their manager forgot to tell them? Well, that's not the creator's fault. That's the manager's fault. How do you prove that? Again, the communications are scattered everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's why for this system, everything, you know what a source of truth is in like corpo speak? It's just one spot where you can figure out all the information. The source of truth is like the main spot where you go to check what is true, what is real, etc., right? On this platform, when they list out their deliverables, we can see if the publisher did give the image. Now the creator and the manager both have access to it. There's no questions. It's all there, right? Very simple. It just aggregates everything into one spot so people aren't arguing. You didn't put on the Twitch panel. Well, who forgot it? I don't know. How much do we cut the rate down? My manager didn't give it to me, so cut their rate. It gets really messy when like something slips up. So this makes it so that it's really, really, really clear cut. People can't lie to each other or forget or whatever. It's just there and it's accountable, and everyone's accountability is like in one spot, right? Because it gets messy. So that's kind of the idea. So that it's very much like verification and documentation of everything that I feel is like super lacking right now. And a lot of the big issues stem from that. That's like the core seed root, whatever you want to call it, issue, usually. You said, do sponsors know that people don't go reading the about section for a singular sponsored stream? Yeah, I have said this many times to them when they're like, you got to put a panel in. I'm like, the panels don't matter. No one cares about the panels. They don't care. They want it. If they want it, whatever, put in the deliverables. Okay. Whatever. I try to explain user behavior to them. That's also a big part of consolidating stuff here, is explaining to them like what actually works and what doesn't. Right. So that part's a little, we're trying to make some strides there. I've been trying to explain to them like what does and does not matter. That is, that's a process. It's a big process. Are you gonna let sponsors or streamers rate each other after each sponsorship? There's not gonna be like a public like rating, like I can put 5 stars on someone's profile and then everyone could see it kind of thing. There's not gonna be something like that. I will let people give feedback, and I will have like my own internal bit of feedback so that if someone keeps complaining about someone else and everyone's complaining about this one person, maybe we do step in. Or maybe we simply let people know internally on the back end, like, hey, Everyone says this person's great to work with, but they never do the panel. They always forget the panel. Maybe don't include the deliverables, right? Stuff like that. So we'll nudge, but yeah, it'll still be on the creators and sponsors to choose in the end what they want to do. That'll just be on them, you know? I mean, so you want a program to help with making collabs with others? Think that'd be epic as a small streamer? That's Discord. That's what Discord's for, and it's a lot of work on the end socially. I'm not going to make anything like that. You guys at least get the affiliate or cookies to collect data source of use? We're not, I don't know what you mean by that, but no, we're not like collecting that. You have to OAuth in to make your account so we can like link up to your Twitch and be able to tell if you even streamed the game you said you streamed and stuff like that, you know? But that's like it. We're not doing any other weird shit. You know? Making VGen for VTuber sponsors, I would not conflate this with something like VGen. I think I get where you're coming from. I wouldn't call it that because it is still going to work very differently. Because VGen is very, you get a referral code in, which we're not likely to do it like that. We're likely to still be vetting everyone ourselves because I feel like it's easy to get out of hand. And there's still a lot more human touch. VGen is one of those things that like once you're on there, any artist can post anything and any person who wants to buy it can just hit a button and buy it. And that's it. And there's no oversight. So we're still going to have some oversight. You know what I mean? Oh, he said, I mean, to collect the data, the source of the cell, the correct usage of the honey scam. Oh, no. Yeah, no. We're just going to have the usual, you know how like when, we already do it here when I do a sponsor. You know how when you click a link, for a game, it's usually like the sponsorship company or something has like their own link shortener that you know that link is like the right one. It's through the sponsor company, whatever. That's at most what we're gonna have. You know. He said you guys are gonna be able to stay largely out of middlemaning the contract portion since the agreement is specifically between the streamer and the sponsors. Yeah. We will still, there will be times where we like do quote unquote campaign management, quote unquote, where we talk to them and we handle it for them because there are going to be some sponsors that don't want to change their workflow. They want to go to us and go, you guys do it, right? And they hand it to us, you guys do it. And then they don't want to manage like going onto the platform and clicking approve, whatever. They just want us to say, here's the people who applied. And then we hand them the list, right? So like we might still do that, but yeah, that's the fee, right? Exactly. When people are like, how do you make money? It's like stuff like that, right? Like doing those kinds of services for them. But again, that's like, we're going to keep a small team and not do that for like every little thing, right? That'll be for like bigger campaigns where they, it's really a lot of man hours and they don't have the hours with their own reps to do it. We'll still do that. We already do that, you know? That's how we do our current stuff. But, yeah, so there will still be that approach for like those companies that really don't want to manage their side of it. They just want us to tell them, yeah, we got the creators, which is good because honestly, if we're able to have our hands a little more in some of the selection process, like they still have to okay things, but we can suggest them more small streamers like that, which is my hope, right? Because when you let them 100% run their own campaigns, a lot of the time they just see whatever big creators want it and they go down the list from big to small. And if they have like $1,000 budget, right? And there are some big creators that want that, they will click on a couple big creators and they'll eat it up and boom, it's done. And then there's nothing left for the small creators. But if we handle it and we still get the approval from them, but we're allowed to like give them our list that we suggest, then I have a lot more leeway where I could put smaller creators in there too and be like, hey, here's a smaller creator. Oh, you're releasing a Souls-like. Here's someone who is a small creator but plays a lot of Souls-likes. You should consider them, right? And I can do that more easily because usually they're just not willing to do the work of like taking their sponsorship and spreading it out to like 100 creators because that's a lot of work. But if we have a platform that helps us do it quickly and we're very familiar with all of this stuff already, we have everyone's profiles and we take on the work, we can make it happen. So yeah, that's the idea. That's how it'll help the smaller folks. I can't guarantee that I can give them every single little thing forever, but at least I can make sure that they're being handled in a way where there's some sort of human in there vouching for them. You know what I mean? Like, I can't assign everyone a manager. We're not a management company. That's not scalable, but at least like batching them together and being like, you know what, these small creators together would be great to do this thing, right? I can make a case for it. So yeah. It'll be a lot more doable. It'll be a lot more doable. So I'm hoping we can help a lot of people of different sizes, because I don't know, management companies just can't scale with the small creators. It's just not possible. You know? That's my worry. At some point, there's going to be more creators than sponsors, maybe. Well, there already are. There already are. And the problem is those sponsors are only ever offered to the top small percent. We can at least push it down a little bit. We can at least widen it a little bit. Right? I cannot go to every single small creator that signs up forever and give them everything. But I can help. And I can facilitate. And really, I want this because even if they don't get like a ton of stuff, but they get a little more, it helps them so much, because that tipping point, there's a tipping point where you can consider going full time, or you can consider trying to do a little more streaming and trying to make it work for yourself. But like, do you quit your job for that? Do you take fewer hours for that? Usually the answer is no. People can't put enough time in to make this work. But if they made just a little more, they got just a little something here and there, it tips them over that point where they're able to at least try it. So that's what I'm aiming for. So, you know, if everything goes well, I think there should be an influx of more small creators being able to spend more time streaming, because they can support like their early costs a little more, right? And they don't have to sit there and beg for subs, right? While they're streaming after their full-time job and everything. So I can't push down and spread out every single sponsorship so much that everyone gets everything. I couldn't even do that with a roster of only large creators, you know, like, but I think we can do so much more than what's being done currently, and then go from there. That's my hope. So yeah, I don't want to overpromise people and be like, yeah, if you sign up for this, you're going to get every single thing thrown at you the same way a big creator would. Like, that's literally, no one could promise that, but I could give you more, you know? So hopefully that helps. So probably creators with weaker currencies will gain a lot with this as well, because the tipping point is a lot lower. Yes, they'll benefit the most, I think. They'll benefit the most, because I'm not going to be like, you know, do anything crazy there. If you get offered what you get offered, there you go. You get to pitch yourself. That's the other thing is everyone's going to pitch what they think they're worth, not me telling them what I think they're worth. Which is the current system with the other platforms, is they tell you. They just go, oh, you want to do this? It's $300. And you keep seeing these scenarios where people are like, I'm being way undervalued. I am being offered money, but it is so much less than if I did this through third party. Like, why am I being offered this tiny amount? I'm not going to take it. You see so much of that from Twitch creators right now, especially through like the bounties and stuff. And that's because they don't get a chance to even tell the sponsor what they think they want. There's no option to do that. So that's what we want. You know, we're not going to sit there and like just calculate a thing and be like, this is what you're worth and we're offering you this. We're not going to control that. The creator is going to control that and say, this is what I want for this list of deliverables. I want to be paid this. And then we go from there. So hopefully that gives them a lot more ability, because normally you like need a manager in between you and the sponsors to do that. There is no place to really facilitate those discussions for smaller creators. So I'm hoping that helps. Do creators have their fees listed? Can creators see others? No one's going to see anyone else's stuff. Like, creators are not going to see other creators' rates or anything like that. That's all just going to be between them and each sponsor, because it'll also change depending on, you know, the exact sponsorship, because the deliverables always change. So it being fluid like that, it's not going to be a set thing. So yeah, that should help them like be flexible with it too. So, dumb question, what constitutes as a small creator? Like, is it based off followers, view count, subs, or all of the above? Everything can factor in. There's so many things. There's so many things that can factor in. So it's very subjective, which is why we're going to take people's ability to pitch themselves and let that happen. Because you could be a really tiny Twitch creator, but maybe you have a good YouTube channel, right? So maybe you feel like maybe you don't hit the CCV that that sponsor would probably want, but you can be like, hey, let me stream it, but also I've got this big YouTube channel. And maybe that sponsor doesn't care about YouTube, doesn't want it. Maybe they do, right? You don't know. So that's why I wanted this to be a system where the creators pitching themselves, because everything is so fluid, so flexible. This is why everything's done by agencies right now currently, because it's your agent tends to know you and your content and what your value is, and then tries to convince the sponsor of that, right? So we're just making a system where small people could do that too, easily, without having to like pay a manager to do it necessarily, you know? Or if you do have a manager that could do it, but now you, the creator, can see what they're doing, right? So if they keep like pitching you and you're not happy with the rates, or you're not happy with the deliverables, or you don't like how something's going, you can see it in front of you. And that is huge. That is huge. So that people can really, you know, understand like what's going on. But the big thing for me is that managers, like I said, these management companies, agencies typically aren't scalable, because one manager has to spend so much time doing all of these communications and things that they can't manage as many people as they want. So management companies often overpromise their people of, oh, I'll help you manage your YouTube and I'll help you do this and all these other things that aren't sponsors, but then they spend 90% of their time trying to help them get sponsorships, because that it's a time heavy thing. So the tool really is supposed to work with managers and agencies really well, so that it just lets them scale more. It lets them, management companies and agencies will be able to scale more using this, because this will take so much of the time and so much of the rote work off of them, but still let them do their process. Because genuinely, like, they'll have an agency with 5 managers and they'll take on, you know, however many talent. And then there's a point where they are just hard stuck. They can't take on any more people because they just don't have the manpower, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, is let those agencies and management companies as well, outside of all the indie stuff, because I think this is really beneficial for indies. And I know I've been framing it like that, but on top of that, it's really good for existing agencies and managers too, because yeah, like, right, you spend time in logistics hell, sitting there in elbow deep in emails, whatever, and then they're trying to write out all the deliverables in a nice, easy format for their streamers so that they can hand it to them and blah, blah, blah. And each of these little tasks that eats up time builds up, and they end up spending quite literally like half their day on this shit, you know? And I'm like, what's the point if I could just make a tool that makes you not have to do that, right? So, yeah, this will mean genuinely like more money and more time back for the agencies and the managers as well. Or especially like I'm trying to build up to like personal managers, because right now you kind of have to join one of the big agencies if you want to do well, or a small one that's like new but run by someone really well known in the space or something like that. You need like that pedigree. But if there's like one guy who's a really good manager, he just doesn't really know much about the sponsor side, that guy could probably service a few people really well. But if he can't get them sponsors, how does he get paid? You know what I mean? Like, there aren't a lot of options, so it's not feasible. So having this lets them do that. They don't have to manually do too much of the sponsor side, just a little oversight. And then they can do their job. You know what I mean? They could just do their damn job and not worry about that stuff. Because realistically, a lot of people, when they join talent management companies, they want the other stuff. They don't just want sponsors only. They're trying to get other help too. But how do you get that help when your manager spends all day just working on sponsors? They can't do other shit with you. So that was my main thought, because I've tried it all, right? I've done everything independently. I've hired my own personal staff in. I've been part of an agency. I've been part of a talent management company. And I've tried every single format. Every single format. So this is a culmination of that, because I see where like all the issues are on every side, and I'm like, you guys really just need a tool. Like, there are well-intentioned people there. The desire to do things right is there. They just don't have the tools to do it genuinely. And if you want the tools to do it, thus far people have tried to like build their own, which, you know, they're not usually tech people. It's not really their wheelhouse, and the tech people they hire in are not really from this space usually. It's not their wheelhouse, you know? So haven't been a lot of good matches so far. But yeah, I'm just trying to make what I think is needed, not another agency. You know? Yeah, one of you said what constitutes, like, if someone's a small creator? I wanted to answer because I did read this before, but what constitutes a small creator? I did want to add, like, again, with being able to pitch yourself, I think this will help a lot of small creators understand what they should venture into. It'll help them kind of strategize what they want to spend their time on, right? Because if their CCV is not growing, but then they see sponsors being like, hey, if you had a YouTube of, you know, this size, we would pay you though for a short, right? I think it'll help a lot of small creators understand what they're supposed to be doing to help themselves and to be more valuable to like a sponsor or something like that. So that's also hope, because I see a lot of questions about that stuff and I'm like, well, those questions are answered when you're in it and you see it, but people that are that small aren't in it. They don't get to see it, right? So hopefully that helps them kind of figure out what they want to do with themselves, you know? As a side benefit, Tool's not really like made for that, but that will happen naturally, you know? Reap. Yeah, Reap, that might happen, that might not. It depends on the deal and the sponsor and all that. It'll happen when needed. You distilled larger issues into one particular problem that really needs a solution. Yeah. Yeah. Because I felt like a lot of other issues that people see and are trying to fix, their solutions are just band-aids for the most part. So, yeah, I didn't want to continue. I wanted to break the cycle kind of thing, you know? No, I'm saying. Small creators like Henny and Mouse booster seats for the table. So true. So true. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. For those who may not have missed the debut, we're going to want to humbly ask for a little showcase. Oh, you didn't get to see it? Is this your first time seeing it? Here. I'll give you the, hold on, let me get started from here. I'll give you the slow zoom, the slow scroll. Wow. They light up. Wow. Do this. Sorry, it's a lot to take in. I gotta make myself smaller. Wow. Sorry, the sword's big. Wow. Ooh. Hold on, a little more. Wow. Maybe the zoom if you want to see the stomach thing too. A lot of people always ask for that. It lights up, look. I'm not even made of flesh anymore. Flesh gone, flesh gone. I don't need it. I simply am and I be or something. I just am, bro. Furnace. Yeah, I just gotta keep the firewood in it, you know, keep it going. Just gotta keep going. Ibaraki Dochi with some snakes. No, it's not. Is this where the jobs are? No jobs. Actually, okay, so a lot of people are like, it reminds me of Ibaraki. There's actually a different creature, a different design in the game that this is a lot more similar to than her, but I think she just makes a big impact, so people keep being like, oh, it reminds me of her. But there's a different one in Neo 3 that this has more similarity to. And I'm surprised people don't name her because she's got snakes on her. So it should be like obvious. And we changed the design up. It's not like a one-to-one or anything. And I added stuff from like other creatures a lot too. But yeah, no one's like, they keep saying like, oh, it reminds me of Ibaraki, but it's someone else. We took more inspiration from someone else. I think the artist posted her concept art. I don't know. I'm not gonna find it. I'm not gonna find it. It might be my favorite model of yours. The design is so dope. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This shit's my favorite. It is. I still have a lot of love for my like base design though. But yeah, much love for it. For those behind this model, I would check my Twitter. You'll have to scroll down a little bit to get their ats. But my base model, my face and my body are drawn by Zan, my original artist. And then my outfits, people who like redo hair and makeup and outfits and items, whatever, for anything new that I add on top of that, that is Janny. He also did the design, Janny Hero. He did the design. So he did that top to bottom. And then Iron Vertex did all the rigging. They did all the animation, all that. Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah, you said spoiler territory for those who aren't that far. Yeah, maybe that's why people keep going, oh, it reminds me of Ibaraki, because they're just not far enough to see the other one. I chose something from, like, way further along. Is it a pocket dimension? No, it's just yokai energy. It is pure form yokai energy, and it has not formed into flesh. Energy rather than matter is kind of the vibe we were going for. How long did it take to get the design down? I don't know, but it was actually kind of quick because Janny's just like that. I also gave him a lot of lists and mood boarding of exactly what I wanted. So I gave him a lot of reference. So I had all the concept art from Neo 3. I had every bit of concept art, all the backgrounds, all the monsters, every single bit of it I've seen. I had all of it in front of me, and I circled a lot of things on a lot of them. And I said, can we put all of this stuff together and then make something new using this? And I said, I just want to reference this one boss with the snakes, and then from there do like all of this other stuff. And then, yeah. And that's what we did. But yeah, we developed into its own thing. We had 2 other major designs that this could have been instead that I really liked. So one was based off of the Tengu. One was like Tengu coded, but still putting like a lot of other shit together. And another one, the base of it was off of there's like a Yuki Onna kind of creature lady. Let me see, Neo 3. They don't call it Yuki Onna, they call it something else Onna. What do they call her? Oh, Tsurara. Yeah, Tsurara. Let me get a picture of her. Because I liked it because she was in this all white, like she's in the icy cold area, and she's in this all white kimono, and then it's just absolutely covered in blood down at the bottom. Which I really liked. Oh yeah, I can't really find good pictures of her. From 3. It's all pictures of people fighting her, and it's just effects all over the screen because they're like bursting her down like crazy with magic. Anyway, it's a really cool monster. Her design's really neat. Yeah, she looks like a scorned bride. Yes. That was like the idea. She looks kind of like a scorned bride. She has like the hood on, and then she like screams, and it turns out like her hair on the back, coming out of the back of her head, are wings, and then like the bloody icicle kind of vibe is like going from there. That was the other one that I was like, I'd really like to do an outfit with this as the theming, and then we just redesign it. But we didn't because I liked this one. I liked this one the most. But that one was like, it was really hard to pick. Here, I've gotten my best 2 pictures of her. It's so hard to fucking see her. It's so hard. They're like 144p. Hopefully they'll post her concept art because her concept art looked crazy. I'm not going to show anything unless I know the artist posted it, because I don't know what they're showing and what they're not. And I would be like, it would be a crazy break of NDA if I showed like, oh, here's her concept art, you know? But, yeah. Didn't you say you wanted to make the worm? Yeah, when I mood boarded and I had a bunch of different concepts, one of them was the worm. But we ended up not drawing out what it would look like because Janny was like, wait, I'm inspired. And then gave me 3 options, and I was like, holy fuck. And I went with this one. You know? Oh, Garrick, yeah, he was talking about sponsor stuff. You brought up a good point. You said an inverse problem I see from a lot of companies, specifically for sponsors, is they pick up a lot of creators, but everyone only gets 1 sponsor a month from them. And most people end up wanting more and are unable to get sponsors from outside sources because they have to go through said company, which sucks for some friends. Yeah, you kind of, when you join an agency, you get put onto their whole system. So if they have contacts at, you know, company A, B, and C, that's great. You can get sponsors from A, B, and C maybe. And then a different agency might have contacts with companies B, C, and D. But if you're with the first company, you're like, I want something from publisher D, and your first agency is going to be like, I don't really have contacts there. We don't get stuff from them. And now you have no chance. You have no chance to even try. So I'm trying to expand who managers and agencies can even try attempting working with, you know? And same thing from the publisher side too. They tend to have very limited lists of creators that they ever get to sponsor. So this should hopefully just kind of like spread a lot of that out, widen all of that, so that there's a lot more availability or possibility, right? That should help. That should help, because there are also agencies that straight up will gatekeep, and I think I get it. I get it, right? But you know, it'd be nice if maybe like a little portion of budget, if most of it goes to one agency that publisher really likes working with, that's fine. If they have a good relationship, that's fine. I'm not going to get in the middle of that. But if we could allocate like a little extra to then spread out to everyone else, maybe it won't be able to go to everyone, but we can try, let everyone at least apply for it, and make sure that some people that aren't with one agency at least get to try this thing. That could be good. That could be good, right? Like a lot of gacha sponsors, only certain people know their reps and can even offer them, right? So one gacha, you'll see it go through a certain group of creators because you know that they all like have that contact, but then another group of creators won't ever get it because they're just not connected, right? So my hope is that if they're connected to us, and then on the creator side and agency manager side, everyone's connected to us, now here's a big widespread, like at least you can try kind of thing, you know? Because that's one of the big issues. I just want everyone to have the chance, you know, whether they get it or not is still on the sponsor to accept, but it should help by at least letting them see who's available and maybe spreading out a little bit more. Spread it. Yeah, that's the TLDR. I'm trying to get everyone to spread it. Just trying to get them to spread it a little more, you know what I'm saying? Please get more Nikkei people. Yeah, we have good contacts there. I mean, because realistically, like the way everything is right now in the industry with sponsors, the way everything is right now, your chances with most companies are zero. Even if you're a big creator and you're with a big agency, there are going to be companies where your chance with them is zero. If you're a small creator, your chance with almost everyone is zero. So my goal is let everyone have a chance. Can I force the sponsors to pick up every single person I think they should? No. I'm not going to do that either, because I'm not trying to piss off them and make them leave this industry because they hate us. You know, I want them to have a good time too. But I'm trying to make sure that everyone has a chance to at least see what's available and try. Right? Because that is just like not even a thing right now. It's just, there is no non-zero chance. It's actually zero chance, you know, straight up, which I think is not at all how this should be. And if everyone has a chance, now they can better match. Now they can much better match, and they can end up being with people that make sense for their campaigns, right? So I think that's very, very important. Even just getting them engaging with small creators opens the door for more interesting collabs. Yeah, I think a big part of the issue is that it leaves a bad taste in people's mouth when like they can't even try. They think that maybe the publisher doesn't want them or something, that they're, you know, or whatever. There's a lot of assumption there, but realistically, they don't even know who's out there. They don't know what creators even exist. They don't have time to sit there and watch all these people and research who's the best for their thing or whatever, because they're a company that makes games or publishes the game. They're not like, you know, that's not their role, their task in this whole ecosystem. So, you know, but if no one's taking on that role, then it doesn't happen. Like, there's no good list in front of them of like, here's everyone you should consider. Instead, they get a list of here's 10 people you should consider, and that's it. What does that mean, though? No. It's not event-based. I think you just don't know. Maybe you weren't here earlier. It's just a platform. It's a platform. It's a software that lets them see who's available and who might make sense. You know? I assume they don't have the time or resources for that. Yeah, they don't. A lot of time there's desire there. I personally have gotten, through the thing that we're currently doing, many friends who are smaller creators onto big campaigns, like huge ones. Huge ones. Because I was able to put someone in front of them. That's it. Because the way I do it is a very low cost way of doing it and a simplified way of doing it that takes out a lot of the excess. It trims a lot of the fat out. So I can afford to spend time doing that, right? The way people do it right now is a very costly way of doing things, these management companies. So they won't give small creators a chance because they don't make enough money back from those small creators. So they don't keep them on. They don't even take them on at all. That's why they have zero chance. So that's what I'm trying to do, is make that possible for them, because it's totally understandable. I mean, realistically, you know, let's say you're a talent management agency with like the lowest cut ever, and you take 5% of people's sponsorships. If you get them sponsorships, like you're their talent manager, and you get them a sponsor for $100 because they're a really small creator, and $100 is like, you know, about what they would generally be able to get. What do you make off of all the time you spent brokering the deal and getting them that on that sponsor, making sure they do it right, talking to everything? You make $5. That's why talent managers and agencies and things don't take on small creators, because it's like, again, it doesn't scale. So yeah, that's why I went the software route, because I was like, this is actually just blocking them out of even trying, right? The fact that everything's done manually by a human, and there's no thing to cut out like some of their communication time. They're sitting there emailing. There should still be a human there, but the human should not be doing every single thing manually, right? Like we shouldn't be using smoke signals to communicate and taking forever on all of our tasks just to get like a simple thing signed and a list of deliverables in front of someone. You know what I mean? If you have time to get sponsored for a small creator, you can afford $5 a month. Marry me, marry me. Yeah, that'd be depressing. Yeah, it's not sustainable, like I said. So, yeah, I hope that makes the whole thing make sense. It's not like anything but additive onto the industry, is how I feel in its current form.
Multiple small of tubers inside of a large trench coat to make them seem larger. Faction redeems chat.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, is like, let's say they're like, I want 1,000 CCV to watch my game when it gets played. I could give them one streamer that gets like 1,000 CCV, and there you go. And one manager spends one chunk of time managing that person, getting all the stuff in front of them. Great. What if I'm like, actually, I could give you like 10 different 100 CCV creators for that same thing, and there you go. It's the same value for the publisher. The publisher might be down, but what if we had a manager managing all 10 of those people and piecing out and doing the contracts for 10 different individuals, all manually? It doesn't make sense. Like the time cost just doesn't scale. That's why they don't do it. So yeah, my whole tool, the whole point is like, how can we actually do that though? You know, how can we do that though? Because the publisher, there's no reason why they should care too much about that, right? As long as they're getting the value of what they pay for. Like they need to get that if we're going to do right by them. That still needs to happen. But in my mind, you could have like one big creator, a medium creator, and a bunch of small ones. You don't have to have 2 big ones only, right? So that's the goal. That's the goal, is trying to do that as much as possible, and at least make sure that anyone who's on the smaller side can try. Know what I mean? Do you think a publisher discussing which people to sponsor from a list of people instead of just giving sponsorship straight away? I don't understand what you're asking. Please reword. Do you think? And then it's just like a sentence. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You could have infinity 0 viewer creators. So true. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to be like, you know, here's this 3 CCV creator, let's give you 1,000 of them. You know, that's still difficult. But I think the threshold right now is pretty high. Like even being a Twitch partner is not high enough to guarantee that you can go and get sponsors. That's still tough. And I think the threshold should be lower. So that's what I'm trying to do, is at least lower the threshold where you can get some stuff occasionally, because you shouldn't have to be like at the point where you're already a full-time streamer and doing really well just to try some sponsors out, you know? It should be feasible to at least get something here and there. If you're at least partnered, right? Or like if you're recently partnered, if you've hit what Twitch needs you to hit to be partnered, you shouldn't be like completely locked out of every opportunity, not even trying, right? How do you realistically automate this? There's just too many small details. That's why I'm saying there's still a human element. I don't want it to be a robot-only system where there's no human on one end. You know, there are humans on both ends still. You know? You can cut the time cost by not caring too much about who to sponsor. Publishers aren't going to do that. They do care. Well, some care more than others, actually. This is all a very fluid thing, right? Like, this is so case by case, which is, again, why you have to have humans involved in this. You can't just automate every single thing 100% and not have people involved, right? And they're still on the, like, publisher and vendor side. They still want to talk to someone. And they want to talk to someone who knows the industry, can handle, like you said, like exceptions or extra asks or all these other details and stuff. They still want to talk to someone. So we're still going to talk to them. We're still going to be there for them and help out. But all the little rote tasks after that conversation, that can all be handled a lot more easily with this tool so that we can actually scale. But yeah, we're not going to, like I said, it's not going to be the Wild West where I'm going to be like, oh, you post whatever you want and that's it. You know? Yeah, no AI slot machine for sure. For sure. But right now, you know, I'm trying to make the most basic form of this. So the idea is whatever the most common and repeatable processes are that currently exist, that's the stuff that I'm building. And then as I go on, I'll see more and more edge cases, more and more little things that we could also build and slowly build more. But right now I'm just taking the stuff that I know for sure can be built and not overdoing it and keeping people filling in all those gaps right now. Because it's not too much for a small team to be able to fill that in right now, honestly. It's not like crazy on that end, to be honest. All the stuff that I am building right now is the stuff that's most time consuming and that I know can just be built as a system instead. So, yeah. Yeah. Corner lady. Yeah, this is true. You said, in other words, would you say that this new tool would allow newcomer game developers and small streamers alike to support each other's growth on a mutual symbiotic basis once the tool's made it out of the testing phase? That is a big, big, big hope of mine. Yeah, that is an aim. That is a goal. So something that doesn't happen is tiny indie games might be made by one guy, self-published, right? You see it on Steam. It has 3 reviews and it's got, here's the developer, here's the publisher, and it's the same name. It's that guy's own name or his own company. He might want to sponsor a small streamer. Maybe he makes something that's like a retro-looking pixel art little indie game. If he wants to go to some marketing agency or publisher to publish his game or whatever, they're taking a piece of the pie. It's just like a lot of the time not really feasible to then also have budget to go and market out your stuff if your publisher doesn't offer that, right? So people will self-publish and then they'll just buy some ads on Twitter, stuff like that, you know? Instead, I want them to be able to take, even if it's a small budget, I want them to be able to come to us and say, hey, it's me, Joe Schmo, with my tiny game. I have $200. I have $200. What can you find me? And if I have a big list of especially smaller creators, I can find people who will absolutely want to be interested in promoting their game. Not just do it for the money, but also be interested in it because it's symbiotic. And I do notice a lot of small creators being more focused on indie games than larger creators. Not to say there aren't larger creators. We do a lot of indie stuff here too. But I find that like it leans that way more. So that's something that I mean by like matching people to the right sponsors too. If someone comes in with a small budget, other people would laugh at them if they're like, oh, for my whole campaign, I have $1,000. There are some like marketing agencies that would just be like, we can't take you on. We only do campaigns of a more billion. I want the eventual goal for that to be a thing. You know, obviously I'm going to be like starting with what we're starting with and what we already have built up. But that's like once stuff is fully rolled out past a certain phase, the goal is for that to be what that ecosystem's like as well, to be possible. We still have to do a lot, though. There still has to be a very human touch on verifying all these people and things. So that's why that's going to be rolled out slowly. And we'll probably pick up some smaller little like games and campaigns and things over time eventually, but that's going to be handled very meticulously at first. Yeah, I think it's totally achievable too, but it's one of those things I'm not just going to open the floodgates, because there could be a lot of issues there if we don't really like oversee how this goes and figure out how to make this sustainable. So kind of the same way right now, I'm handpicking some smaller creators that I've already brought in that I know can handle this stuff really well, and I can get good feedback from them. People that I know would be like excellent testers, right? So like Garrick is one of those people. We've gotten Garrick a lot of stuff, a lot of sponsors, and he's done them all well. And he's not like a more billion CCV streamer, but all the publishers have been happy, right? So then I get feedback from him, and you know, like how can we make this better for you? How was your experience? Blah 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 blah, right? So that's how we're gonna do it on the sponsor side too, for anything that's smaller or anything that we're doing really. If we're trying to bring in the smaller ones within the industry on any side, it's going to be a very like slowly pull people in kind of process to make sure we're doing it right. Because you have to guinea pig stuff. Like I said, we've been doing this for a while, and I've been guinea pigging a lot of stuff on myself because I don't want to like try to launch shit without being in it myself and without having friends that I trust that I know will give me good feedback in it as well, that can tell me if this is like, you know, if this is it or not. So yeah, but yeah, we'll do that with smaller games, smaller publishers, smaller everything. That will all be something that's kind of on the horizon, but it's further out because I need to do it slowly and carefully to make sure we're doing it right, you know. And that's going to be the case with everything. So this tool's not launching tomorrow, you know, or anything like that. But I've got a lot of interested friends, which is great, that wanted to be in like my pre ultra super alpha kind of version that I have right now. And I pulled more in. I pulled more in this weekend, and I'm pulling more in within the next couple weeks, and just slowly like adding people. And that way they can tell me how it all is right now, and I can get like a good tester group, you know. I already have some, but I'm expanding that first while we build everything, just to be like 100% sure, you know, to be 1,000 more billion% sure that we're happy with what we got. This is all an elaborate ploy to give Garrick all the sponsors. How did you know? How did you know? I just really don't want to roll things out to a bunch of people that I don't know until people that I do know can sit there and confirm for me. Like, you have to test stuff. I find typically with stuff like this, I mean, you guys see it with like Twitch with the bounty board and a lot of other tools. They roll this shit out when it's barely ready. If they picked a tester group of creators and had a bunch of them try this, they would have given them the feedback that you see publicly. And they could have missed a lot of that mess. Because a lot of people would have been like, what's up with these rates? This is weird. I don't even get to pitch myself, blah, 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 right? They would have been able to do that, but they didn't. They just roll shit out. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to really, really hard avoid that and make sure we're like very, 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 very much testing and testing well and testing forever, you know, before rolling it out and doing a very slow process. Because as cool as it is to full send it, like, yeah, I'm getting a lot of support right now. That's great. But I want to put something out that I'm happy with, you know? Yeah, testing good. Testing good. Need the data to prove the concept. Yeah, that's why I didn't even announce until, you know, I could aura farm off of our current achievements, you know? I didn't want to be like, I'm doing this and then not even have really done it myself. I've been taking sponsors for a long time through the system and been using the current version of the system for a while and onboarded friends months and months and months ago, just some of them, to test and let me know how it is for a while. I didn't even tell anyone that I did any of this shit, you know, until now. So yeah, this is the way forward, in my opinion. Because I get that marketing hype cycles exist and people want you to announce, and then in a week get things ready, and they want you to just, like, for lack of a better phrase, just blow your load instantly and just be like, oh, here's the product, oh, it's done. But I'm not going to do that without all the testing, you know? Not safe. Yeah, my new feature is 100% cool even if I didn't test anything. Trust. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like this could only have been done by someone that has a very good relationship with devs. This is why I considered doing it at all. Because again, I was just going to like systemize stuff for myself and a couple friends initially. I really, really, really didn't consider expanding and scaling this out until I, at some point, just kind of sat back and looked at how many good relationships I personally have with developers and publishers and all that. A lot of the sponsorships I take, I'm like in direct contact with some of these people, you know, and it's very important to me to do it that way. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I have such a firm basis here that I could just scale it. You know, I could just do it at this point. But it wasn't really a consideration at first. I always wanted to build something, you know, like my background is what it is. So I always wanted to build something, but I was waiting until something made sense, and this made sense. That's really all it is. KPIs do advertisers care about? They're all different. That's the problem. They're all different. So that's why we, again, still need a human touch, is we need to have someone talking to them, which we will. They will be talked to. And we'll have a conversation with them about what they care about, and then try to find the people that can achieve that for them, you know? So it's not really clear cut, unfortunately. The TLDR is across the board, everything, you know? Also, yeah, we still have the soap sponsor. We're still the first ever creator with Cheeky Soap. The first. Use code GEEGA. Oh, Mouse has a bar out now. Mouse has her own bar. It is a floral scent with a little hint of citrus, I think. But yeah, her floral scent, that one is gettable. It is gettable, and you can use my code for it. The code usage helps me a lot, so do use my code. Do use my code. If there's any schmelling on there right now, you can get that as well with it. You can get that as well. But yeah, use code GEEGA to get Mouse's soap. Do it. Do it. Yeah, you said, I can't think of another streamer who could have done that Raw Fury thing on their own like you did. Oh yeah, the Raw Sember campaign. Oh yeah, that was all us. Raw Sember was so fun. Yeah, Raw Sember was... So I normally do indie game gauntlets. I do that. I used to do them more often because I would try out like every little thing. Now I like wait a little and consolidate to like the ones I really want to try and do them. And a long time ago, you guys saw my beta test of this, or alpha test, whatever you want to call it. I did one sponsored by New Blood, quote unquote. It wasn't actually sponsored though. It was just partnered because we didn't sign a contract. I didn't do a formal engagement. I didn't do anything. I just DM'd the people from New Blood and I said, hey, I do this thing. It's an indie game gauntlet. But I want to do one where I just go through your guys' games. Would you support it and partner with me on it? No sponsorship. You don't have to pay me. But I want some game keys to give out to people while I'm playing those games. So if we're playing Dusk, I want a Dusk key, you know, whatever. And I said, no pressure, but if any of your devs are willing to give any, I'm doing this. And I was expecting like a couple, and New Blood was like, fuck yeah, we love this, and gave me like 1 billion game keys. Like all the devs, they asked all their devs, and all their devs were like, yes. Dave, Iron Lung guy Dave was like, take all the keys, you know. We had ones for a Medieval, we had ones for Ultra Kill. It was a whole thing. So I did that. Yeah, New Blood does famously hate money. They do. We hate money. They definitely were very supportive. And then yeah, we got the voice actor for Gabriel from Ultra Kill into support. And it was something that no money was exchanged. I said, I'm not looking for money. Don't pay me. I just want to do this. Can you get game keys? And they said, okay. So I did that, and we did the whole thing. And then I took that, and then when Raw Fury was trying to do Raw Sember, which in their mind was just trying to get some people to play some of their games, that was it. I was like, why don't we do this? And I showed them the New Blood one, and I said, why don't you sponsor me to do that with your games? Instead of me just picking one and playing it, I'll go through and do the indie game gauntlet, and you give me keys as well. This will not cost you $5 billion, you know, etc. And that's what we did. So that's what I tend to do, is I tend to like do a thing myself, guinea pig it on me, and then from there, now I can have other people also do stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had an example. Exactly. I think you need to set up examples for people and show proofs of concepts beyond just basic proofs of concept. They need to be actually fully actioned out, right? So I like to do that first before having other people do a thing. You know what I mean? It's basically like guinea pig and then systemize. Guinea pig and then systemize, right? So I always make myself the guinea pig and then systemize. And now other people can do it too, right? So that's what I'm doing with the sponsorship stuff. That's why part of why you've seen me take so many sponsors, right? Is because I try to test it on myself, make sure like, just figure out what the experience is of working with these publishers, especially if it's someone that's new to us or like a new dev, a new studio that we haven't worked with. I guinea pig it on myself because sometimes, you know, yeah, you get paid, which is cool for sponsorship, but sometimes the experience of working with some of them is terrible. Most of them are really good. Sometimes it's not terrible so much as it is finicky, and you just have to learn what you need to know about them. So I guinea pig myself because it's a big risk whenever you take a sponsor from some company you've never worked with. You just have no idea what that's going to be like. And sometimes it's like not fun, not great, you know? So yeah, so I guinea pig on myself, figure out the quirks of them, and then fold them into everything and start trying to give other people around me stuff. So that's what I've been doing for the past like forever. It's just testing all this shit, you know? So hopefully we can just spread a lot more of that out. We spread it. Guinea pig, systemize, and spread it is our current mantra. You know? Spread it. That's what we're going for. Anyway, I've yapped enough. Let's play Mugenics. Talked about my company enough. Let's play Mugenics. Let's play Mugenics. Yeah, we do have one gay cat. He keeps trying to breed with other male cats, and they just aren't having it. We haven't found a gay cat for him yet. Is your neck molting or is that battle damage? Oh, it's cut. That shit's cut. Actually, wait, you can see the golden drip. Wait, ready? I don't think I've zoomed in on this. Ready? If we go to phase 1, look at it. It drips. I actually wanted to make a dripping animation, but I was like, that's too much. No one's going to be able to see that. That's going to be 3 pixels. When I'm playing a game and I'm down here this small, they're not going to see that. You know? It's the Amrita. It's the Amrita. Okay, let's go here, right here. And then I will go here. I kind of want to leave the sword on today. I feel like it can fit on the screen for this game. I think we can make it work.